proud sponsors of the Cars Ireland YouTube channel. Cartel.ie, for car history data you can trust. Buying a used car? Get an exclusive coupon code now. See the comment section for more details.
If you watched my most recent video, you might remember the part where I said that I thought the Kia EV6 was currently the best electric car on the market. Well, I think I've changed my mind. Again. This week's test car is the BMW iX3, and spoiler alert, it is excellent. Now, the disclaimer being that it is of course a BMW, so not exactly what you'd call a budget-friendly EV, but at the same time, the price tag on this one is slightly lower than what I think I was bracing myself for. This limited edition Premier model starts at €71,000, which is not small change by any stretch of the imagination. But it does claim to do up to 460 kilometres on a single charge. And aside from being electric, it's pretty much a BMW X3, which is a very, very good place to start. But let's start this review, as we always do, around the back by looking at the boot space. So, at 510 litres, it is 40 litres smaller than the standard BMW X3, but is still quite impressive in this family SUV segment. The Audi Q5, for example, is 520 litres in its diesel form, so we're not doing too badly here at all, despite the battery pack. Now, we have decided to standardise some testing here in these Cars Ireland reviews, and my first litmus test for the boot is going to be whether it can fit a full-size travel system back there without any drama, or without the boot popping back open. First, I'll show you around a couple of bits and bobs. In here we've got quick release levers to drop the back seats, you've got a shopping bag hook, and also a handy hidden storage area to keep your charging cables in to save them flopping around in the back there. So let's do this. It looks quite wide, so I have a good feeling here. So yeah, look, that was pretty easy, and in fact I say there's plenty of room in there for another couple of scooters as well. So for the moment of truth, will it close? No problem, test passed. Space in the back, as you can see, is also very generous. I'm 5'6" sitting behind myself, and I have plenty of leg and headroom. My next test is going to be a car seat one, so for the purposes of this review, I have installed one of these very popular new spinning car seats that are designed so that you can face them either forwards or have them rearward facing. The problem being that that can sometimes be limited by the car that you're in, because you do need quite a bit of space between the car seat and the front seat to get that rearwards facing position. So I'm going to try that now, again with the passenger seat in my driving position, and just about manage to pop that into position without moving that front seat forward. So another test passed. Older kids are also going to be very happy back here, because you can recline these seats. Then if you've got no one sitting in the middle, you've got a pull down centre armrest complete with cup holders. In fact, the whole middle seat can fold down, creating a kind of ski hatch into the back. Again, very handy for family life. You've got some storage in the back of the seats, and also the door bins, their own climate zone controls, and a couple of USB ports, vital for charging those gadgets. So to be honest, I would happily sit back here for a long journey. As it happens though, the front is pretty nice as well. I think BMW do a great interior, and this has pretty much been lifted straight out of the X3, save for a few extra nice blue lighting effects and some extra bings and bongs on startup. And those were apparently created by the famous German musical composer Hans Zimmer. Who knew? Aside from that, it's a very spacious cabin with lots of good logical storage, super comfy seats, a full leather interior. It's your typical BMW affair. And then this iDrive infotainment system, which is In my opinion, still one of the best in the biz, except this one gets some extra information on battery health and status and nearest chargers and general electric stuff. Spec on this Premier model is very impressive. These awesome 20-inch black aero alloy wheels are standard, as is adaptive suspension, heated seats and wireless phone charging. But as I said, it is a special edition model, so if you haven't managed to snap one up, you'll probably have to go for the M Sport model. Also excellently equipped, but starts at closer to 75,000. It is, however, always worth maybe contacting your local BMW dealer to see what they might have lying around, and I'll leave a link here to help you find your nearest one. The BMW iX3 is powered by a 74 kilowatt hour battery, supposedly good for up to 460 kilometers on the WLTP cycle, but again, these things of course depend hugely on where and how and who is driving. But in general, I've been seeing between 18 and 20 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is our new measurement of MPG, I guess. Now that has been mainly city driving, but at that rate would make 400 perfectly achievable. Of course, colder weather and longer spins at higher speeds are going to put a dent in that, much like they will with any electric car. It takes about 10 hours to charge fully from your standard home wall box. But if you are planning on doing any more serious long distance journeys, it is capable of taking on up to 150 kilowatts an hour, which would give you an 80% charge in just half an hour. As for what it's like to drive, in a word, brilliant. It is just so sure-footed, there's plenty of poke. You've got the equivalent of about 286 brake horsepower, which is not insignificant for a family SUV, and again, being electric, that power uptake is just instant. It can do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in just 6.8 seconds, which isn't anything to write home about in the electric world, but it just, as I said, for a family SUV feels extremely quick and really engaging, and I think a lot of that is to do with the fact that it's rear wheel drive and just feels for all the world like driving an X3, which has always been one of my favourite SUVs to drive. And unusually in this instance, I feel like the addition of the electric powertrain has actually added to the experience behind the wheel for a change. But yeah, I'm honestly just blown away by how good it is, by how normal it feels, and by how much it makes you want to drive it. So that's where I am currently on the BMW iX3. I want one. To be honest, it was a car that I was utterly unexcited about, but has completely won me over, and I just feel like electrifying the X3 has given it something extra, a bit more virtue maybe than what it was as just a flash SUV. And I think if you're close to this end of the market, it's definitely worth doing some sums on, because in the age of PCP, anything is possible. I might be doing some of those sums myself, in fact. If you'd like to do the same, you can find details of your local BMW dealer on CarsIreland.ie.